Hey guys, and welcome back to Mental Health Monday. So I'm in a little bit of a different location today because I stayed at my boyfriend's last night, so I thought I might as well just film here. I'm not gonna lie, this morning I woke up in a very weird headspace. I'm just feeling a little bit deflated with YouTube at the moment because my videos last week didn't do as well as I'd hoped. I know it's not all about views, but obviously this is my job and I just put so much time and effort into them and no one seems to really want to see them, so I'm just a bit confused on what to be uploading on YouTube. But anyway, instead of letting the negativity get the better of me, I thought I'm just going to carry on doing my uploads on a Monday and a Thursday, and then hopefully if I do it more regularly then you guys will want to come back. So yeah, that's that. It doesn't help that I'm pretty much on like day 2 of a hangover. I swear as I've got older, like my hangovers have got worse because I got really drunk at the weekend and I snapped like 3 of my nails, which is so annoying. I absolutely hate having my like stumpy nails like this. But anyway, enough of the complaining. Today I thought I would do a story time video about how and why I got admitted into a psychiatric hospital. I've spoke about this a lot in my videos, but I don't know if I've ever done like a specific video explaining why. I'm gonna try and keep this as trigger free as possible and I'm not going to go into too much detail, so don't worry. But I was just thinking about it today because my dog Lola is nearly 7, which means it was 7 years ago that this all happened. It honestly feels like it was yesterday. Like time has gone so quickly from that point up until now. So we are rewinding back to the summer of 2012. This is the summer where I had my big breakdown. I'd struggled with my mental health up until this point, but I feel like this is where it really went downhill. So I took myself off of my meds at the beginning of the summer, and then just my mental health just slowly started to deteriorate. And then at the end of the summer, my boyfriend at the time decided he wanted to end things with me, which I did not take well. Yeah, not well at all. And obviously now like I can look back and I can analyze it, but it really did consume me. And it pretty much does boil down to the fact that, you know, relationships and rejection is something that people with borderline personality disorder, which is what I'm diagnosed with, really struggle with. But I wasn't diagnosed with BPD until I was 21. He just said he didn't love me anymore, and whether that was because he didn't love me or he couldn't deal with my mental health, whatever, like I don't know what it was, but I literally begged for him back because I was so in love with him. He was like my first love and I just couldn't see my life without him. Because basically in my first year of college I did struggle with my mental health, but I feel like it's our relationship that kept like my mental health afloat. So as soon as that was taken away, I plummeted, and that is one mistake that I will never repeat again, relying on someone else to help my mental health. But yeah, obviously I was new to it all back then, so I just completely spiraled into the state of despair. And I remember I went back to college. I think I did maybe 2 years of my second year of college, but I was just really not okay. I was just so focused on getting him back because I felt embarrassed that he'd broken up with me, and there were all these rumours going around college. And I remember just going in, like, for some reason I had written "I hate myself" like multiple times, just all up my arm. And I remember just going in there and crying to one of my friends, who later ended up sleeping with him whilst I was in hospital. But anyway, that's a whole other story time. And just saying like I just don't feel okay. I feel like I want to end things. I want to end my life. After those 2 days I just didn't go back into college, and I did what most depressed people do and just spent all my time in bed, which obviously isn't helpful, but I just felt like I couldn't do anything. It was like I was dealing with a breakup, but I was also dealing with a massive like deterioration of my mental health. And during that time my parents found out for the first time that I was self-harming. I feel like they had to deal with like a lot at once because I went from 0 to 100 pretty quickly. I became very heavily suicidal, and yeah, I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating, so they dragged me to the doctors. I ended up getting a puppy, Lola, to help me like just distract myself, and she did help, but you know, it wasn't enough. It's so hard to describe being in that place, but I just honestly could not see any of the good things in my life. Like I thought that if I didn't have this boyfriend, then there was no point in living. It just felt like I was in this dark forest alone, and no one understood and no one got it, and there was like no coming back from that. I think I don't know if I necessarily wanted to die, I just wanted to escape the pain. And so I was either very reckless or just depressed, lying in bed. I was very angry, I would smash things, I would want to go on drives when I was just not in the right headspace, and then my parents would stop me, and then I would do something because they hadn't let me like go out. And basically it got to the point where my mum took time off work to basically be with me 24/7 because she was so scared that something was going to happen to me. So she slept in my bed. It was me, her and my little puppy Lola. And the college actually sent over like my teachers, like my favourite teachers from the college came to visit me, and they like were trying to convince me and tell me like how good I was and to go back to college. But I was just like, you know what, like I don't even want to live, so like what is even the point in thinking about college and like my future? And the college also massively interfered with my ex. So they made him, because I mean I've blanked a lot of this period out, I just remember like snippets from it, but apparently I would leave him like voicemails like screaming down the phone saying that I was gonna kill myself if he didn't pick up, and like just all this shit that I was sending him, which I'm not proud of, but I know it wasn't me, it was the depression talking. But the college made him send them all the texts and play them all of the voicemails that I was leaving him, because they told me that apparently they were an expert in dealing with breakups in the college. Okay, they made me feel like I was, well obviously I was in the wrong for sending him messages like that, but they made me feel like a criminal. They just made it even worse. So I felt like it was like the college, all my friends at college, everyone at college against me. So yeah, I was acting on my urges because I just felt like I wanted the pain to end. But because my mum was watching me 24/7, I had to be really sneaky about it. So she would go down to the shop to get something for me, she'd come back, I'd done something, and she'd have to call the ambulance. Yeah, so I would then go to A&E, maybe stay there for a night, and like the crisis team comes and assesses you and whatever, and then I would just go back home. And this was happening like multiple times. I was going into A&E and coming back, and it was like maybe like the 4th or 5th time, which is pretty good I think by some of the standards that I've seen, you know, it happening to my friends and them never even being able to like have a place in a psychiatric hospital. I ended up staying in like the general hospital for like a week, which I felt really like out of place in, because like I was there for mental health. I was on a ward with like babies and young children with like actual physical conditions, so it felt like, for me, I felt bad because I was like, I don't deserve their help. And like they're also not really, they are given a bit of training, but it's not like specialized towards you know, mental health, which is why I really think we need mental health A&E. There was another girl actually who I ended up becoming friends with, not whilst I was in hospital, but when I was out of hospital. I stumbled across her like private account on Instagram. I was like, oh my god. But according to her, I was like a zombie apparently. I just wasn't with it. I just didn't care. If you scroll right back to my Instagram, I actually like posted like all of these really depressing posts about how no one understood and that I just wanted to die and etc, etc. That was the darkest point in my life. So yeah, then the team from the psychiatric hospital came into the general hospital to talk to me. And on that day, so basically when you're in, well, when I was in the general hospital at least, my mum was like in charge of my medication. You'd think that the hospital would be able to just prescribe you whatever you are on, but I was on venlafaxine and melatonin. My mum had access to those, so she had that in her handbag. And so what does a suicidal person do? I go into her handbag. Lo and behold, I was not in a good state when the psychiatric people came to me. I don't really remember much of this. All I remember is that they took me to a room and they basically said to me, like, what's going to happen if you're discharged from this hospital? And I said, well, obviously I'm going to continue killing myself. And so they ended up sending me to a psychiatric hospital as an emergency patient. So this is basically where you're not allowed to go home and get your stuff, you go straight to the hospital. I was still a voluntary patient, I wasn't sectioned. My parents then took me from the general hospital to this psychiatric unit, and I literally had no idea what to expect. In my head it was going to be laid out like a general hospital, and we were all gonna like just be sat in bed in like this one big room. But it was nothing like that. It was like I don't know how to describe it really. Everyone had their own like separate rooms, and then there was like, you know, a dining room, and then there was like a boys' lounge and a girls' lounge. And on the first night that I was there, I was like, oh my god, like what have I agreed to? Because I suddenly was like, whoa, okay, like I'm by myself, I don't have my mum with me. It was really outside of my comfort zone. Like I wasn't really thinking of it until I literally got to my room and I was by myself, and I was like, I don't know if I can stay here. So on the first night I ended up getting my mum to like come all the way back, and I tried to leave, which they said to, you know, you can leave if you want to, but we really strongly advise against this. And in the end I was like, okay fine, like I'll stay here. I don't really know what made me stay, because I still really feel like at this point I still desperately wanted to die. But I guess it was just, maybe I was intrigued to see, like I'd never come across anyone else that was in the same boat as me. So, you know, I was intrigued to see like what the other people were like that were in there. So yeah, if you want me to do another video on like my experience and what exactly happened like when I was in there, then I will happily do that. But I was in there for 2 months, like September, maybe like, yeah, just 2 or 3 months, because basically I turned 18 in the November. And when you turn 18, you're no longer an adolescent, and that was an adolescent ward. They let me stay until like December. I went back into the community, as they say, because there was no spaces in my local adult hospital. And then obviously I went back to like ending up in A&E, but I think less frequent. I definitely do think that that stay in hospital kind of gave me like this safe bubble. When I went to hospital, I gave my phone to my mum, because I was like, the stuff that I was getting from like my friends and from the outside world just really wasn't helping me. So I didn't have a phone, I didn't have anything. Like the only contact to the outside world I had was through the payphone, which I would call my mum on every day, and then obviously they could come and visit. And then as time went on, I would be allowed like home stays and home visits and stuff like that. So yeah, that is how I pretty much got admitted. Thumbs up if you found this video helpful in any way. If it wasn't for that experience, I wouldn't have started up my YouTube channel, so I am very, very grateful for it. And please do send me in suggestions for future Mental Health Monday videos, because I want to know what you want to see videos on. And subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you on Thursday for a new video. Goodbye.